Imagine standing in the middle of your home, surrounded by a tide of belongings, clothes spilling from closets, gadgets collecting dust, shelves sagging under books, trinkets, and forgotten keepsakes. Your phone buzzes with notifications. Your calendar is a mosaic of overlapping commitments, and your mind feels like a cluttered attic, stuffed with worries, plans, and distractions. You're exhausted, aren't you? Not just physically, but deep in your core, weighed down by the chaos of modern life. Too many things, too many tasks, too many thoughts pulling you in every direction. You long for peace, for clarity, for a life that feels like it belongs to you. What if the answer isn't to add more organizers, more productivity hacks, more goals, but to embrace less, not just fewer possessions, but the radical, liberating power of empty space? This is the essence of Japanese minimalism, a philosophy that cherishes not only what you keep, but the spaces you leave bare, creating room for calm, focus, and meaning. Rooted in concepts like the art of purposeful space, and wabi-sabi, the beauty of imperfection, this approach invites you to release excess and discover the freedom of emptiness. Let's walk this path together, exploring how this wisdom can declutter your home, your schedule, your mind, and your soul, crafting a simpler, more intentional life that feels deeply, authentically yours. Japanese minimalism is far more than a design trend or a set of decluttering tips. It's a profound way of being that celebrates simplicity and space as gateways to a richer existence. At its heart is the concept of a Japanese term that refers to the intentional use of empty space in art, architecture, music, or life to create balance, harmony, and possibility. Picture a traditional Japanese room: a tatami mat, a low table, a single scroll on the wall, and vast stretches of open space. The emptiness isn't sterile or cold. It's alive, purposeful, allowing each element to stand out with quiet significance. Ma teaches that what you omit is as vital as what you include. That space itself is a canvas for clarity and beauty. Alongside wabi sabi brings a reverence for the imperfect and transient: a cracked teacup, a weathered wooden bench, reminding you that life's fleeting, flawed nature is what makes it precious. Together, these philosophies form the backbone of Japanese minimalism, urging you to keep only what's essential or deeply meaningful, and to let go of the rest with gratitude. In a world that equates worth with accumulation, more stuff, more status, more busyness, this mindset is a gentle rebellion. It asks, what if emptiness isn't loss, but liberation? What if clearing space makes room for what truly enriches your life? Let's anchor this in your reality. You know the weight of modern life all too well. Your home is a repository of things you've collected: impulse buys, gifts you feel guilty discarding, items you keep just in case. Your inbox is a fire hose of emails, your social feeds a relentless parade of ads and curated lives that leave you feeling less than. Your days are packed with tasks: work, errands, social obligations, leaving little room for rest or reflection. This clutter, whether physical, digital, or emotional, drains your energy and muddies your focus. You might buy things to regain control, a new storage bin, a sleek gadget, only to find they add to the chaos. You might say yes to every invitation or project, hoping it'll bring purpose, only to feel stretched thin, disconnected from your own desires. The result is a life that feels full but hollow, busy but unfulfilling. Japanese minimalism offers a way out, not by demanding you abandon everything, but by inviting you to be discerning about what you let into your space, your time, your heart. By embracing empty space, you create a sanctuary where clarity, peace, and joy can take root. What does embracing empty space look like in practice? It begins with your surroundings. Imagine a single shelf in your living room. Instead of crowding it with books, photos, and souvenirs, you select just one or two items, a small plant, a cherished stone from a trip, and leave the rest bare. The empty space doesn't feel empty. It feels intentional, drawing your eye to what's there, making it more meaningful. This is Ma at work. The space elevates the value of what remains. In your schedule, empty space might mean declining a weekend event to spend an afternoon wandering a park or sipping tea in silence. In your mind, it's carving out moments of stillness, 5 minutes of deep breathing, free from the pull of screens or to-dos. Japanese minimalism isn't about living with nothing. It's about living with intention, curating your possessions, your time, your thoughts to reflect what matters most. The result is a life that feels lighter, clearer, and more aligned with who you are and who you want to be. The benefits of this approach ripple across your life, touching your mind, body, and soul. Physically, a decluttered home is easier to care for, fewer things to dust, organize, or repair. Your spaces become havens, free from the visual noise of excess, where you can truly relax. Financially, minimalism is a game changer. By prioritizing quality over quantity, a single, well-crafted chair instead of a cheap set, a durable coat instead of trendy throwaways, you invest in items that endure, saving money over time. Mentally, empty space fosters clarity and calm. Research shows that reducing physical clutter can lower stress, improve focus, and even enhance decision-making, as your brain isn't overwhelmed by constant stimuli. Emotionally, minimalism deepens your connection to what you keep. A single photo on your desk, chosen because it captures a moment of love, carries more weight than a dozen generic decorations. Spiritually, empty space invites presence and reflection, aligning with Wabi Sabi's call to savor the fleeting beauty of now. A quiet sunrise, a worn book, a moment of connection. Environmentally, minimalism promotes sustainability. By buying less and cherishing what you have, you reduce waste, honor the Earth's resources, and live more lightly on the planet. Contrast this with the patterns many of us fall into. Mindless accumulation, snagging deals, hoarding what-ifs, saying yes to every demand creates a life of disarray. Your home becomes a maze of things you don't love or need, your schedule a treadmill of obligations you dread, your mind a storm of anxiety and distraction. Consumerism fuels this cycle, promising fulfillment through more clothes, more tech, more experiences, yet delivers only fleeting dopamine hits. The more you own, the less free you feel. Your possessions demand your time, money, and attention, tying you to a life that doesn't reflect your true priorities. Your packed calendar leaves no room for spontaneity or rest, draining your energy and creativity. Japanese minimalism turns this on its head. It's not about deprivation, but discernment. You don't stop owning things or living fully. You choose what deserves your space, your energy, your heart, and let the rest go. Let's paint a picture of how this might unfold in your daily life. Imagine redecorating your bedroom. Instead of filling it with furniture, bedding, and decor, you choose a simple bed with crisp linens, a single lamp, and a piece of art that stirs your soul. The empty floor and bare walls feel spacious, not sparse, inviting you to rest deeply, free from clutter's weight. Or picture your workday. Instead of juggling a dozen tasks, you block out an hour of uninterrupted time, empty space in your schedule, to dive into one meaningful project. The focus you gain boosts your productivity and your sense of accomplishment. Even your digital life can embrace Ma. You unsubscribe from newsletters that flood your inbox, delete apps that hijack your attention, and create a phone screen with just a few essential icons, each one chosen with care. These acts of clearing space aren't just practical, they're empowering. They remind you that you have the power to shape your environment, your time, your life, one intentional choice at a time. To bring Japanese minimalism into your life, start with small, manageable steps. Begin by decluttering one area, a drawer, a desk, a corner of your kitchen. As you sort through items, ask, does this serve a purpose in my life today? Does it bring me joy? If not, let it go with gratitude, perhaps donating it to someone who can use it or recycling it thoughtfully. This process, inspired by Wabi Sabi, honors the impermanence of things. Nothing is meant to last forever, and that's part of its beauty. Next, create empty space in your schedule. Look at your calendar and identify one commitment you can release. A meeting, a social event, a self-imposed deadline that doesn't align with your priorities. Use that time for something that nourishes you, like journaling, stretching, or simply sitting with a cup of tea. Another exercise is to practice Ma in your home. Choose one surface, a table, a shelf, and clear it completely. Then add back just one or two items you love. Notice how the space feels. Does it calm you, inspire you, free you? To sustain this mindset, pause before bringing anything new into your life. Ask, will this add value to my days? Can I live without it? These questions, rooted in mindfulness, help you avoid clutter before it begins. Challenges will surface, and that's okay. You might feel attached to your possessions, worried that letting go means erasing memories or losing part of yourself. Start with items that feel less personal, old receipts, expired cosmetics, and build confidence as you go. You might face external pressure to keep up with trends, to fill your home or life with more. Remind yourself that minimalism is about your values, not society's expectations. Financial constraints can make quality purchases feel daunting. Focus on small, accessible wins. buying secondhand, repairing what you own, or finding joy in free experiences like a walk in nature or a conversation with a friend. Distraction is a constant in our digital age, pulling you away from presence. Create boundaries, tech-free mornings, a clutter-free workspace to protect your empty space. If the process feels overwhelming, lean on Kaizen, the Japanese art of small, continuous improvements. Clear one item, skip one task, pause for one breath. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. This philosophy weaves seamlessly with other Japanese concepts, enriching your practice. Wabi Sabi invites you to cherish the imperfect and transient, a chipped mug, a fading flower, as reminders of life's fleeting beauty, reducing the urge to replace what's flawed. Motenai, the respect for resources, encourages you to value what you keep, repairing a torn shirt or repurposing a jar instead of discarding it. Ikigai aligns your minimalism with purpose, helping you prioritize possessions and activities that spark joy and meaning. Perhaps a sketchbook for your art, a weekly hike, or time with loved ones. Danshari, the art of letting go, frames decluttering as a release of what no longer serves you, freeing you from the weight of excess. Together, these ideas form a holistic way of living, one that values simplicity, intention, and harmony over accumulation or perfection. Let's deepen this with more practical exercises to make empty space a part of your life. Try a space meditation. Sit in a room and focus on an empty area, a bare wall, an open floor. Breathe deeply and notice how the space makes you feel. Does it calm your mind? Spark creativity? This practice trains you to see emptiness as a gift, not a void. Another idea is a one in, one out rule. For every new item you bring into your home, a book, a pair of shoes, let go of something else. This keeps clutter at bay and forces mindful choices. In your schedule, experiment with a Made. Once a month, clear your calendar of non-essential commitments, creating a day of empty space to do whatever feels right. Rest, explore, or nothing at all. Digitally, try a minimalist screen challenge. For a week, reduce your phone's home screen to 5 apps, noticing how it affects your attention and stress. These exercises, varied and flexible, help you integrate Ma into your unique life, making space for what matters most. Let's also explore how empty space can transform your relationships. Clutter, whether physical or emotional, can strain connections. A home filled with stuff might feel unwelcoming to guests. A packed schedule might leave no time for meaningful conversations. By clearing space, you create room for presence. Imagine hosting a friend in a decluttered living room with a single candle flickering on a bare table. The simplicity fosters intimacy, letting you focus on each other, not the surroundings. Or picture carving out an evening with no plans, allowing you to call a loved one or listen to your partner without rushing. Empty space in your emotional life means letting go of grudges or expectations, approaching relationships with openness and gratitude. This aligns with Wabi Sabi's embrace of imperfection, loving people for their quirks, not despite them. By creating space, you deepen your connections, making room for laughter, vulnerability, and love. Let's ground this in a story. Meet Aisha, a 38-year-old nurse overwhelmed by life. Her apartment was a jumble of clothes, medical books, and gifts she felt obligated to keep. Her shifts were grueling, her free time filled with favors for others, and her mind was a fog of stress. One day, a patient mentioned Japanese minimalism, describing the calm of a clutter-free home. Curious, Aisha started small, clearing her kitchen counter and keeping only a kettle and a bowl of fruit. The empty space felt like a breath of fresh air. She began saying no to non-essential requests, reserving weekends for rest or reading. She donated half her wardrobe, keeping only pieces she loved, and felt lighter each morning. She even created a ma corner in her living room, a bare nook with a cushion for meditation. Over months, Aisha's home became a refuge. Her energy returned, and her relationships deepened. Minimalism didn't erase her challenges, but it gave her space to breathe, heal, and live with intention. As you step into this journey, envision the life you're building. A home where every object has a story or a purpose, where empty spaces invite peace and creativity. A schedule with room for spontaneity, rest, and connection. A mind unburdened by clutter, free to dream, reflect, and grow. Japanese minimalism isn't about having nothing. It's about having enough. Enough beauty, enough meaning, enough you. It's a quiet stand against the noise of consumerism, a reclaiming of your space, your time, your soul. You don't need a bigger house, a busier life, or a shinier version of yourself. You need only to clear the excess and let the essential shine. So, begin today. Right now, look around and choose one thing: a mug, a paper, a task to release. Let it go with gratitude, creating a sliver of empty space. Carry this question forward. What can I clear to make room for what matters? Ask it when you shop, plan, or think. Trust that each act of letting go is a step toward clarity, a brick in the foundation of a simpler, more meaningful life. You're not just decluttering, you're designing a life of freedom, presence, and joy. Welcome to the power of empty space, power of empty space, power of empty space.